Hey everyone, welcome back for a little TLC. We are still in the middle of our book titled Forgiving What You Can't Forget. Not even gonna try to say the author's name. Still ain't got it. Anyway, last week we talked about who is forgiveness for? Is it for the forgiver, meaning the person who is doing the forgiving, or for the forgivee, which is, I think, a term I made up completely, but the person receiving the forgiveness. And it's definitely for the forgiver. I really appreciated all of you all's feedback on that video. I realized that several people told me that I didn't actually give an assignment from the book so that you kind of would know where I'm going to be going next. So I will say today's video and the last video were really just from the introduction in chapter 1. But I do encourage you all for next week's video to read through chapter 4 of the book because that's where I'll be getting into for next week. Today I wanted to talk about this topic, like signs that you need to forgive, essentially, because I will say for me, I was reading through a certain part of the book and I was thinking, like, what I have described as me being fine is actually a sign that I need to forgive because I've gone like way overboard. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, kind of like the signs you need to forgive, or like masks of forgiveness that aren't really forgiveness. So let's get into it. So there were like four main things that I want to talk about that the author went through as some signs that we needed to forgive. And so I'm going to talk about them just a little bit. So I'll start with the ones that I think were the most obvious. So those being bitterness and resentment. And so bitterness, she described as thinking that you need to protect the evidence against all of those who hurt you so that you can state and restate your airtight case and hear guilty proclaimed over them. So just continuing to just like relive the hurt that you have experienced in a way that does not allow you to move on. But it kind of like is sucking your soul because you're so bitter and you're just going over those details over and over and over again. So that was bitterness. The next one that I think is pretty obvious is resentment. And she says that she kind of like marked it as vindication. So this idea that the person who hurt you needs to hurt just as much as you are hurting. And so that's another trap and really a sign that full forgiveness has not taken place. Another one, which I don't think is quite as obvious, but she mentioned it's just like delay. So this idea, like, I don't want to move on. Like, I want to stay in this sad and sorrowful and painful place all the time. Like, it's not so much the anger that comes from bitterness, but it's really like this deep rooted sadness. And I want to, my pastor preached a sermon one time titled "Take Off Your Grave Clothes." And so that's what I imagine is happening. Like, you just, oh, I'm so sad this person hurt me so badly. Like, I'm just going to continue on in this sad state. And delaying wanting to get out of it, delaying wanting to get the freedom that comes with forgiveness. One that she talked about that I thought was pretty interesting is this idea of hyper spiritualism. So instead of addressing the root causes, addressing the hurt, you're kind of like, well, I've said that I need to forgive because the Bible tells me so, and so that is what I've done, and I'm good over here. But anytime anything is brought up, you're like up in arms again, like freaking out because you haven't actually addressed what is going on. And then the one that hit me the hardest is cynicism, which she described, I'm just going to read it, dressed like a security guard, making me believe that if I hoped for less, it would protect me and prevent more pain. In reality, though, it was a thief in disguise out to steal every bit of closeness between me and those I love, and even worse, authentic intimacy between me and God. That one really hit me because I like to consider myself to be a realist. I like to consider myself to be like very, very logical. There's a scripture that I quote sometimes, which comes out of Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23, that says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. But sometimes I don't have a guard. It's more like a military fortress. Like I have like a castle walls, and a moat around. It's way more than simply guarding my heart. Like I've totally built a fortress um by like hoping for less, not having any type of expectation. Um and it can truly alter your closeness with others. And so that one really truly hit me hard as a sign that I haven't truly, you ain't forgave like you said you forgave. So like I have on this mask of being guarded, but really it's cynicism because of my lack of true authentic freeing forgiveness. So those were the main things: cynicism, bitterness, resentment, delay, hyper spiritualism, but still kind of like being in this bitter place. Um, yeah, these are all signs that we need to forgive. And some of them are actually masked if you're using vindication when it's really resentment or cynicism. And you're saying that you're being a realist and you're guarding yourself. They're masks that we really haven't healed and we really haven't forgiven. I would love to know what you all think about these things. Do you think that there are some more masks that people put on, or some more signs that we need to forgive outside of these things? Which ones resonated with you the most? I know it was cynicism for me, but it could have been some of the other ones: the bitterness, the resentment, the delay, or the hyper spiritualism that most stood out to you. I'm sure that as we go through the book, we will figure out some ways to combat these signs or to take off these masks and really get to the root issue. But I really wanted to talk about that today because it was stepping on your girl's toes, okay? Make sure you read up until chapter 4. That's what I said, right? Up until chapter 4 for next week's video. And I hope everyone has a wonderful week. I look forward to hearing you all's comments. Make sure you like, comment, and share. And I'll see you next time for a little TLC. Bye bye.